Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekly Learning Forward Saturday show. We move across the world, score all continents, cross mountains and seas, and actually try and find out why people are so passionate about education. Today, I have a boy who grew up to be a boy teacher, and the boy teacher always stayed a boy because of his love of motorbikes. It's often said that the child in you should never go away. So, for the teacher, the child in the teacher should always stay. Boys should always be boys. Very interesting story of a gentleman today who has served 45 years in this world as an educator, who has served in co-ed schools, in day schools, and above all, a large part of his life in single-sex boys' schools. He is a role model, a mentor, and loves handling boys through the difficult phase of adulthood and growing up. He feels that warrior men have to have empathy, and kindness is the only reason why we are in this world. He has been a school leader, and today he continues to lead schools. At the drop of a hat, he'll pick up his motorbike and drive from Dehradun to Goa. And then, with the same energy, wear many hats, from a lovely father to a guru to a health guru, and above all, a teacher mentor to many of us. Thank you, Mr. Philip Burrett, for joining us on the show today.
Thank you very much, Sandeep, for that introduction. I'm flattered. Yes.
Philip, don't get flattered. Hang on, I'll just flatten you even more. Tell me, why are you so flat out being an educator? Why are you so committed? I mean, you've put in 45 years. Have you actually made a stone turn?
Well, Sandeep, it's been a long time, but, once you are a teacher I don't think you can ever get out of it. And therefore, I keep looking for opportunities where I can still help the youth and still help my colleagues in the profession. I think it's a lot to do with my background, Sandeep. I was the son of an army man. I grew up predominantly in a ladies and women environment with sisters and grandmother what I learned from that was the values of respect for women, kindness. My father taught me that men take risks, but real risks. They persevere, they're resilient. And that's when I met you, Sandeep, with the IAYP, many years later, because I believed in the Kurt Hahn philosophy of giving a boy a skill, a passion for the outdoors, something where he can show his manliness. And that's where, you and I met at the DEAS interview panel. And, I think that a lot of education that I learned was with my father on the treks and on difficult excursions, camping out in pouring rain in the Western Ghats, because I schooled in Pune. And that's where I really got my education, outside the class. And that's where I want to continue to teach, outside the class, outside what they call the liminal space, when there is no support and you're on your own. So that's something to start with, Sandeep.
Please stay with us. We will be back after a quick commercial break.
It's been wonderful working with Learning Forward, more so because I've had the golden opportunity of being the founder as well as the sponsor and the first chairperson of Learning Forward India. It was indeed an honor and privilege to stitch together the affiliate and bring in hundreds of people from all over the country as our members. In 3 years, we've come a long way. We have worked with a few dozen schools,
What's most beautiful about Learning Forward is they are committed to raising the bar for the teaching and learning profession. And we as an affiliate strongly support that. And Learning Forward is but a natural step for everyone in life. Affiliate has to live by the spirit of Learning Forward. And not just be in design and policy, but in terms of purely connecting with the educators and helping them appreciate what they are doing. Affiliation is more about appreciating the spirit of learning. To understand the global implication of education, you must become an affiliate.
Thank you, Philip. Philip, you mentioned three important things. One, you mentioned about this respect for ladies. Second, you added the passion for outdoors. And third, you showed the role of a family and values. So these three added to your becoming what you are. How do you think this added up to your pedagogy, practice, and pastoral care at the school level?
Okay, so Sandeep, when I began teaching boys in a residential school, I slowly began to see boys in deep trouble. I found that when I looked around, suicide rates with young men were rising, crime was rising, prisons are full of men, not women so much. There was substance abuse, joblessness, loneliness, poor grades. Women outscore boys in every possible exam. And young men who were the role models for these youth of our days, Kurt Cobain, Michael Hutchence, and Jim Morrison may be great singers. But what happened? They died very young. And, I saw boys bragging, fighting, drinking, gangs, hurting others, delinquency, no real heroes, hanging in there together, making a lot of noise, no respect for women. And I thought, I think we need to take this seriously. And, we talk about women empowerment. I think what we need is men empowerment. Men need to be empowered to be the real warriors. And that's when I came under the influence of the Mankind movement, which was actually a movement started for men in California post-Vietnam. And, this movement took these Vietnam vets who were homeless, womenless, directionless, and took them out and listened to them. I think what men and what boys need are mentors who listen to them. Boys are very, very sentimental, very, very affectionate and emotional. But we leave them alone. Where are the mentors today? Their fathers are playing golf or making money. And who do they go to? Who do they go to? That's the problem. That's what I saw, Sandeep.
Philip, you really highlighted the beautiful role of mentorship. And this is one point I fully agree with you, that the difference in the last 100 years or even longer than that in India is the spirit of mentorship is extinguishing. So if you look at this of India, you look at our civilization, mentors played a key role. The real education to us came from mentors. Where do you foresee now with the work you are currently doing that we can resurrect a part of this philosophy of looking at our guru as a mentor or imbibing values from the people around us?
Yes. To begin with, you read books and you sold books like Tuesdays with Modi. We need people like that. We need the elders in our societies to spend time with boys. And the good schools that we have around us, we need to create mentors who help children outside the classroom. It's very good to have good grades, pass exams, do well in life. But that comes to naught if at the end of it, you have a half-baked man. And I think the schools that we work with, the good schools, they have a ritual, a rhythm and a routine to their lives. And boys love ritual, routine and rhythm. If you look at the ancients and ancient tribal societies, even today, Sandeep, you'll find that there are rituals which are presided over by elders, elderly men. And these rituals involve a pain and blood. whether it's circumcision, knocking out teeth, whether it's jumping from those natural bungees in Indonesia, well, whatever it is, or killing your lion in the Masai Mara, all this required mentorship. And then the boy passed from a boy into a man. He was received by the community of men. Today, our religious practices are falling apart. We don't have the rituals where boys pass into men. And so in the absence of good teachers and mentors, boys will pass through these rituals on their own. Well, there's the drinking ritual, there's a fast driving ritual, there's the drug ritual, and there's still a lot of pain and that's the way they pass into men. But it's half-baked because there's no men around, you see? There's no accountability, owning up, taking responsibility. This is what is lacking. So good schools and good men is what they need today, Sandeep.
Thank you, Philip, for so beautifully amplifying the idea of 3 R's. My biggest takeaway from this lovely Saturday conversation is ritual, routine, and rhythm. I'm sure we will continue with the podcast as a ritual, in a routine with the rhythm. And I'm really obliged and deeply indebted to you for this great message.